We're buying land and we're building houses, ladies and gentlemen. We are now trimming out the house. So we just finished the paint on the home. We had our painters come in. We did a 2-stage paint. And the reason I like the 2-stage paint, it costs a few dollars more to be able to get the 2-stage paint put on the walls, but I like the white. Now, just a little key point of how we do our homes. We use a sandcastle color that's a Sherwin Williams color paint on the walls. It's a neutral color. The reason that we use it, even when grays had been trending, is because the tans always trend. And the grays came in, they trended quick, and now they're going away. And so because of that, we like utilizing a neutral tone color on the walls. And most of it has to do with furnishing. When you're going in and you're doing a house, you can use the latest and the greatest, but you have to remember that depending on where you are across the country, you have to service the mass need for the buyers that are coming in to look at your homes. And when we're building spec homes, meaning that we're buying a piece of land that we've selected, we're building a lot that we select, we're building a house that we've selected the amenities on, and then we go out and we're selling it to the masses. So this isn't a build to suit where they go out and select the items. So we have to have a broad band of likability to our entire marketplace. And one of the things that I learned early on is that when we went in and we stayed very, very modern when it was trending in the beginning very, very aggressively, is our houses sat on the market for extra days that they didn't need to based on something as simple as paint color. And so we went back after 2 homes with a trending gray. One of them went back and repainted it a tan color. The other one questioned the paint color, but accepted it that color. But not one person was excited about it and said, I love and embrace that gray color that's on the walls. And we tried multiple different grays. So understand that the tan colors, they trend indefinitely. I've been using this exact same colors since the late 90s when I first started building. And I use a Dove white on all my trim colors and on all my ceilings. And so I keep a constant throughout all my homes with the exact same color tones. And the reason being is because, one, we live in the Southwest. So those neutral tones sell people because they have furnishing that even if they love that contemporary look, which we build, and we give them that modern look, but in spite of giving them that modern look, we don't want them to have to go out and dump another $50,000 or $100,000 on furniture after they just spent $750,000 on a home. And so it becomes extremely expensive for them, and that decision alone will make people migrate to find another home that fits their furnishing that they have. So always remember that neutral is better than extravagant, because if you go extravagant, you land up losing the masses. And when you're trying to sell a home that's spec built, you want to make sure that you attract the masses. So in spite of the tan maybe being a little bit boring in trending conditions, it still sells and it still wins over any other color out in the market today. It doesn't matter if you're on the East Coast, the West Coast, or here in the Southwest. And also, just basic whites. You can go in and do like Dove white through the entire house. You could do a birch white through the entire house. That will also sell because it's neutral. You have a lot of buyers that it'll fit their furnishing needs across the board. So right now, the paint is on the walls, the flooring is getting started. We'll have flooring done within the next 2 weeks, and we'll start the entire trim out. Cabinet guys will be dropping cabinets, countertops will be going in. You want to make sure that you're communicating with all your trim out suppliers and all your trim out contractors. You want to make sure that you have all your bathtubs purchased. You want to make sure that you're receiving them, your sinks, your fixtures, your faucets. All of that stuff is very important to start considering right now. You want to be reaching out to your electrical contractors, your plumbing contractors, your heating and cooling contractors to let them know that you're weeks away from trimming out the house to be able to get all of those trim out items, your light fixtures, all your recess cans, all of your plugs, switches, and light covers over all of your trim out items for electrical. You want to make sure that the plumbers are aware that the bathtubs, the sinks, the toilets, and all the faucets are just weeks away from being installed. And you also want to make sure that your heating and cooling guys have their air condensers, their refrigerated air condensers, or their heating systems connected, set on the roof or set on the side of the house. You also want to make sure that they have all of what's called their registers. That's the little boxes that we'll bring to you here and show you guys all their register covers all going in and ready and ordered. And you also want to make sure that your thermostats and all of your heating and cooling systems for the mechanical part of your build are solidified. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most exciting parts of the build. This is the part of the build that I love most. Why? Because I starting to see a house really come together, and this is what I call the beautifying part of our real estate, of our building the house. Now, there's also some exterior components that we want to take into consideration as well. We have an outdoor kitchen that we want to make sure we start getting our granite countertops on so that we can officially get all our color coat on the house all around us so that way we can come in and finish out the exterior. Now, before we get our color coat on, we want to make sure that we get any of our natural stonework, slate, tile work, or porcelain installed prior to the finish coat of our stucco going on, so that way the tile or the stonework is in, and when they do the color coat around the house, it cleans up and seals up the backside of all of that tile or any of the grout back there, so that if you live in a cold climate, any thaw, freeze, and moisture that can go behind there in the winter is signed, sealed, and delivered, so that you don't get what's called spalding, where the moisture, or heaving. The spalding and heaving is when the moisture goes behind the tile or the rock and it actually delaminates from the house, and then later on you have warranty issues. So it's really important that you get all the stonework done on the exterior, and it's time for you to go in and start looking and paying attention to all the scratch coat details and go start blue taping with blue painter's tape anything that the stucco guys or your exterior facade people need to take into consideration before they finish your exterior trim out. Now, we have some grading and drainage issues. One of the big things is we had our courtyard wall built. We like giving people a little tiny bit of privacy. Now, if you're building in less affluent areas, we do not include any courtyard walls whatsoever. Once we get over that $600,000 mark, we'll give people a little backyard with a little courtyard that gives them a little private space for dogs, for their own personal confinement and their own personal living space in the exterior. But we want to take into consideration that the excess dirt that the guys threw into the wall from the footings gets moved and migrated out of here, and we start thinking about finished grade for grading and drainage to ensure that our property under heavy rainstorms or snowstorms or any type of precipitation at all is going to drain out properly according to our civil engineering, our grading and drainage plan that we showed you guys in video number 1, which hence reminds me, if you like content and want to be notified anytime a video like this is released, then pound that subscribe button and pound that thumbs up button for more content just like this. And if you haven't already seen video number 1 that takes you from the entire building process of buying land and building houses, you're going to want to click below. You're going to want to watch video number 1 where we talk about how we acquire the lot and what steps we take to get permits to be able to make all of this possible. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jerome Maldonado. I've been buying land and building houses for over 25 years. I love everything that we have been able to do with this because it generates us six-figure profits. And I'll tell you, if you want to continue getting more notifications, click that thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and I'll look forward to seeing you next video. You guys got to watch how I buy land and build houses. Now it's time for you to take action. If you want to get a hold of the same 14-step process that we utilize to buy land, build houses, and generate over 6 figures on every single build, you're going to want to click below. Learn from an industry professional that has been doing it for over 20 plus years. We're still doing it today. We're still taking down builds, and we're still generating over 6 figures on every single build.